Hello everybody, it's Emery48 here. Welcome back to another NCIS Saturday. Today we're diving into Season 3, which is bookended by two-parters. Pretty intense ones for the show. And we start with Kill Ari Part 1. The team struggles with Kate's death pretty badly. And a shot is fired at Abby's lab by Ari. Abby, Gibbs, and Tony are inside the lab at the time. The director moves to Homeland Security. So we lose our original director, and we get Jenny Shepard, an ex, not wife, of Gibbs' ex-partner and partner, is the new director. Ziva arrives. Ari uses Gerald to get Ducky to meet him. Episode 2, Kill Ari, Part 2. Ari lets Ducky go. He fills in NCIS. Ari lets Gerald go, and then he lets Ducky go. Gibbs then finds him, and someone who is working with Ari shoots at Gibbs and Jenny Shepard. They kill him pretty immediately. Gibbs and Ziva set up Ari so Ziva can learn the truth and prove Ari killed Kate. Ziva kills Ari, saving Gibbs. She had thought that he would never come to kill Gibbs, and if he did, she would kill him. Episode 3, Mind Games. A man on death row wants to speak with the man who put him there, Gibbs. He is a serial killer, all woman. Boone, the serial killer, is moved to NCIS. McGee finds his dumping ground, but there is a fresh body, and Agent Cassidy is kidnapped. There is a copycat on the loose, and it is Boone's lawyer. They thought it was the biographer, and Cassidy kills the lawyer and escapes, as she was supposed to be the newest victim. Episode 4, Silver War. A modern body found in a Civil War casket. Ziva is assigned to NCIS. Only Gibbs and Ziva know who killed Ari. Everyone else thinks it was Gibbs. Still not allowed to sit at Kate's desk yet, though. The victim was buried alive in a Marine and Civil War reenactor. The dead man's safety deposit box has a mummified hand and map. The map was stolen off of McGee and Ziva when they recovered it at the bank, and the mummified hand has a very old ring. Ziva draws the map from memory and saves Ducky's life and kills 3 people behind the murder. Ziva earns Kate's desk. Episode 5, Switch. Sailor shot while driving. Perfect scene cuts with the script in this episode. It was weird. The beginning of this season really did have some new editing tactics in it to have like jump cut scenes, like mid-sentence that lined up perfectly with the sentence in the next scene. It was interesting. Something they didn't really do in the previous seasons, and honestly, I don't think it's something that really continued past the first few episodes of this season. So I don't know, maybe they had a different editor for a couple episodes. I enjoyed it. It made it feel quick and snappy at times. Don't know if it's something that continues into future seasons. The killed man is alive, being impersonated, and the victim is the real one. Petty officer at work is the impersonator, and the imposter is caught. But the contact got away. The wife killed him for cheating with his CO's wife. Episode 6, The Voyeur's Web. A cam girl is murdered while live streaming, and the body is dragged out of the house. The fight evidence in another cam girl house. Both are Navy wives. One body is found in a junkyard. McGee found the murder weapon, 2 different murder weapons based on the video. The streamed murder was a fake, and she kills her accomplice to steal $500K. Episode 7, Honor Code. Suits take a dad while his kid is on the carousel. A military computer tech was stolen, and Gibbs shoots one of the suspects, who is later found dead. The plot is foiled, and the Marine is saved, returned to his family, his son. Episode 8, Undercovers. This is probably one of the most iconic episodes in NCIS in general, with Tony and Ziva in bed undercover as a married assassin couple. Tony survives a beating, and they arrest all of the murderer attempters. Episode 9, Frame Up. A dead body is found at a campsite near a military base, but just the legs. Tony is being framed with his fingerprints and bite markings. Fornell is running the FBI investigation, and Tony is in custody. Abby's assistant, Chip, who came on, I believe, after the Kill Area episodes, is the one who framed Tony, and Abby ties him up after a fight. Episode 10, Proby. McGee kills someone for the first time. The victim was an undercover cop. McGee tells police the cop didn't have a weapon, and the cop had been shot from inside the car once, and 2 from McGee. He did have a weapon, but as he was remembering things, he started taking away details, thinking he was more guilty than he was. Gibbs kills a dirty cop, the victim's partner, exonerating McGee. The bullets are too damaged to determine if the kill shot came from McGee or the dirty cop. Episode 11, Model Behavior. A military supermodel reality TV show contestant is murdered, hung by her feet first on a wire fence. Tony accepts an award for Gibbs, and Director Shepard is not too happy that Gibbs did not show up. The victim overdosed on PCP, enough to kill a water buffalo. Her boyfriend is found dead in a motel nearby with a heroin overdose. He'd been beaten unconscious and had a lot of booze and was drugged. His chewing tobacco was laced with PCP. He trips... Oh, what the... I skipped a sentence. The show's staff sergeant is secretly dating the victim. His chewing tobacco was laced with PCP, and he trips an interrogation with Ziva. The show producer is the murderer and is the adopted father of the original victim. He didn't think she would be using the chewing tobacco. Episode 12, Boxed In. A gunfight at the docks forces Tony and Ziva into a shipping container. They are locked in. The container is forklifted away as Gibbs and McGee investigate the area, finding a body that had been shot by Tony's weapon. They are loaded onto a truck and brought to a warehouse. The port manager is in on it. Gibbs and McGee capture the terrorists and the port manager, rescuing Tony and Ziva. Episode 13, Deception. Abducted woman calls NCIS from a trunk. She is a female Navy commander, and she is guarding information about nuclear fuel rods traveling across the country. They find her in the car in a coma, and her boss at Perverts by Justice, kind of a... what's it called? The Chris Hansen show. That style of thing. Had kidnapped her for breaking rules and framing the target she had been tracking, hoping that would put a pedophile in jail. Gibbs arrests the boss and also goes after the pedophile, arresting him, not in some normal Gibbs fashion. Episode 14, Light Sleeper. 2 Marine wives are murdered at Quantico. Husband of one is arrested. He'd been abusing his wife. His gun killed the 2 women, including his wife. But upon further investigation, she was actually the one beating him. The victim's best friend is missing. The main suspect was in custody during the 3rd incident. The missing wife attacks her boss and fails, but escapes. The missing wife is North Korean, not South Korean, and she is an undercover agent. She ties up the FBI protecting her boss, and she turned on the North Korean cell, which included the 2 victims and her boss. A bomb at a Korean summit it had been planted, and she disarms it. Episode 15, Head Case. There's a car theft ring, and that is arrested by the NCIS team. I don't really know why they were the ones investigating this, but that's fine. In the trunk of the stolen car has a head in a cooler. The head belongs to a Navy captain who died at a hospital 4 months prior, and the body had been cremated. But the cremation had been faked, and fake ashes were given to the widow. A mortuary assistant is missing, and cut-up human remains are found in a walk-in freezer. An ME, lawyers, and a crematorium workers were selling body parts for scientific research and killed one of their loose ends. Episode 16, Family Secret. Morgue transport van explodes. A Marine inside had died in a car accident. On the way to autopsy, the van rigged to look like an accident, but it was not the body they thought was being transported. This was all a plot to cover up a kidney transplant the victim had received. Another Marine gave up his kidney, and that would no longer allow him to serve. So Gibbs helps the family keep their secret, keeping him on active duty. Episode 17, Ravenous. Dog tags are found in bear poo, stabbed before being eaten. Serial killer is hiding bodies as park accidents. The shop owner was the main suspect, as the latest captured girl is his ex, and a lot of them have been lookalikes of his ex. But the park ranger shoots him and was holding the girl. He's killed 26 in the park, and Gibbs shoots him in the ass as he's running away. Episode 18, Bait. Student wears a bomb to high school targeting his bully. Gibbs went in. Took me a while to realize this school was on a military base and is the only reason why NCIS would be there. His dad is a major, and the student is being controlled and watched. The student doesn't have the detonator, the controller does. Tony tricks the controller by looping his video, saving the children and Gibbs. The mom had faked her death after testifying against a Colombian drug lord, and she is reunited with her family. Episode 19, Iced. A body is frozen in a pond, and it is a dumping ground with 4 bodies in it, all shot. There is a Marine victim, and his pistol killed the other 3 victims. The Marine was shot by 2 other weapons. The other 3 bodies are all gang members. One shooter survived and is on the loose. The Marine caught up in a gang coup. Gibbs tells the gang all the evidence of the coup, and the gang kills the member trying to take control. He killed 4 gang members, including the boss and 2 Marines. Gibbs didn't have a case to actually pin on him. He had no proof. He knew he could convince the gang otherwise. Episode 20, Untouchable. Tony and Ziva find a dead Navy codebreaker, shot. The murder weapon is registered to someone else in the unit, but they were shot while unconscious. The heck does that word say? Oh, they were choked to put them unconscious. Her boss was the mole and the murderer. Episode 21, Bloodbath. A hotel room has an incredibly violent scene. No corpses, lots of blood, and the pieces in between the skin and the muscle. Ducky predicts 3 dissections by a medical practitioner. The crime scene was staged. There are 4 more deaths based on the cut-up parts found, most likely medical waste from already dead people. There was also drugs found that was fake, and it released cyanide into Abby's office. Abby's ex is creepily following after her again. He realized someone was following her, and that person takes Abby. She tases him. It was a hitman hired to stop Abby from testifying. The ex is still arrested as he had a potential plan to kill Abby with a weapon and a fake suicide note. The funny thing about all this is the case, Abby essentially lost the case because her science got thrown out. And the person gets rearrested for hiring a hitman. So that's good. Episode 22, Jeopardy. Ziva brings a suspect into an elevator, and he is dead when the elevator opens. The director is captured by the victim's brother, who doesn't know the victim is dead. The director's driver is murdered to get to her. The director is rescued, and Ziva's victim had a brain aneurysm, which was most likely triggered by her punching him in the throat, but it's ruled natural causes. Episode 23, Hiatus Part 1. This is the second of the two-parters that bookend this season that are very epic for the overall storyline of NCIS. Hiatus Part 1. Explosion on ship that Gibbs is investigating. He is badly wounded. Gibbs' contact is dead. Gibbs wakes up with memory issues. He thinks it is 15 years earlier and he is injured at Desert Storm. Episode 24, Hiatus Part 2. Gibbs never actually met his contact. They were already dead. He met the bomber, who was faking as his contact. Gibbs relearns 9/11 from his old boss, Mike, and the bomber is on another ship. Ziva gets Gibbs to remember by doing the head slap. And the bigwigs in the military won't listen to Gibbs, and it gets 2 ships blown up. But they accept that because it's off the coast, so no one saw it. Gibbs quits and joins Mike on the beach. That is Season 3. A very epic journey. We go from the death of Kate to the retirement of Gibbs all in one season, which, spoiler, I've seen beyond Season 3, and Gibbs is not done by any means. He goes much beyond Season 3. So we'll get to see how the team dives into that, at least for the time being. But we will get more Gibbs, and I'm looking forward to that, because we basically had 2 episodes without him, for the most part anyway, to end the season. So to start next season without him, it just kind of feels wrong. That's what's going to happen. I enjoyed this season. I thought for a little bit it was slow. It's funny how the NCISs work. Like, you get the filler episodes, I guess, the ones that the show's actually made for, crime scenes, solving cases, those ones in the middle, and then you get this mega 2-parter at the end to really push character development. So to have those bookended is really, really amusing. There's a few in the middle there that gave you some character development, but otherwise it was a lot of, straight to the point crime scenes, which is what the show is supposed to be. But we end it with one of my most memorable story arcs, is that bomber arc, where Gibbs goes into a coma. And you get all the backstory on his wife and kid, and him killing their killers. So it was a good season. As I've said in the first 2 seasons, once I get to a point where we have other NCIS shows, they will be put into a ranking. But for now, NCIS is the only one, so it is the best one. Let me know your thoughts on NCIS in the comments down below. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.